Hello and welcome back to another Python tutorial. Today we're going to talk about the basics of a Python tuple. We're not going to get too deep into it like the other data types that we covered. We're going to get, there's going to be a whole section dedicated to that, and it's going to be the same for the tuple. A tuple is similar to a Python list. The only difference is that we cannot change a tuple after it's created. List we can change. So you may be asking, well, if it's similar to a list and we can't change it, so what's the point of a tuple? Well, actually, tuples do have a um, they're very important actually. If you think about it, if you got some data in your program that you do not want it to be changed at all, it needs to stay the same all the way through the program, then the tuple is the way to go. If you have data that's changing in and out, then the list is the way to go. Well, the tuple adds a little security saying, hey, if we were just to use list, the possibility of this data getting changed, it could happen. So to keep from the data being changed, we use a tuple because it can't be changed after it's created. So let's go ahead and look at, I also want to mention tuples are similar to list also because they're in a sequence. So we can use the index to call the value. So let's go ahead and open up our Python interpreter and create some tuples. Python 3, hit return. That brings up our Python interpreter, and Windows users, in your command prompt you would type Python. So let's go ahead and create a variable. We'll call it A. We'll set that variable equal to a tuple. And the way we make a tuple is with parentheses. List is with square brackets, tuples with parentheses. So we'll just say 1, 2, 3, comma separates the integers here. 4, 5, 6, comma 7, 8, 9. Oops. And we'll close out our tuple. Hit return. Now let's call it. The way we call it is the same way we call any value we put into the interpreter is A, and there's our tuple. So we just created a tuple. Let's create another one. Let's do another variable, b equal to, let's see, let's do colors, red, blue, and green. There's our tuple holding very important colors that we do not want to change. Hit return. And let's call that. We get red, blue, and green. So now that we've created a couple tuples, let's call their values via the index. To do that, we do b. So we're going to call, let's call blue. And remember, index, red would be 0, blue would be 1, green would be 2. The first one's always 0. So b, square brackets, because we're going to slice it, 1, since blue is 1, and then we close out our square brackets. Hit return. There's blue. Pretty easy, huh? How about, say I want to change blue to white. Remember I said we can't change it, so let's try it anyway. 1 is equal to white. This is how we would change a list, but tuples we cannot change, so watch the error we get. It says type error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So we cannot change the tuple once it's created. So let's do one more tuple and assign it and call it, and then call a value from it just for practice sake, and then we'll move on. So let's do C equals oops, parentheses, Tom and Bob and Mike. These are very important people in our programming language. Not really, I don't know, I just made up some names. So we made a tuple, and we're going to have to call it. So we call it by hitting C and pressing enter. We called it. Now let's call a value. Let's call Mike. So to call Mike, we go, the first one 0, Bob's 1, Mike's 2. So we go C square bracket, square bracket, 2 square bracket. Hit return, and we're able to call Mike. Pretty simple, guys. Tuples are very simple. Like, if you understand list, you understand tuples. The only thing you need to understand is you cannot change a tuple. You can change a list. Um, that's it for today's tutorial. And make sure you subscribe. If you've got any questions, leave a comment on Python, or any questions about Python, leave a comment on YouTube or on our website at learnpythontutorial.com. I'll see you in the next one.